Imagine pouring years, literal years of your life into a dream. You finally get there.
Yeah.
And then just like that, it all takes this incredibly dark, unthinkable turn.
That's really the heart of the story of Tom and Jackie Hawks, isn't it?
It is. They sell their house, they buy this yacht, finally ready for that, well-deserved retirement at sea. But then comes this amazing news. They're going to be grandparents.
Changes everything.
Completely. Their whole plan shifts. They decide to sell the yacht, the dream boat, and that decision, well, it spirals into this unimaginable tragedy.
So today we're really digging into the details, the account of what happened here.
Exactly. Our mission really is to try and understand the key events, maybe the motivations, and just the chilling facts that came out of this case.
And what strikes me right away is how it flips expectations. You think, okay, a boat sale, straightforward enough.
Right.
But it becomes this gateway to something truly, truly horrifying.
Okay, so let's get to know Tom and Jackie a bit first. It's 1986. There's this local chili cook-off.
Classic meet cute almost.
Kind of. Tom's 39, father of 2 already. Meets Jackie, she's 29. And apparently it was just instant. A really deep connection, fast.
And they got married a few years later, 89.
Yep, 1989. And Jackie just jumps right into being a mother to Tom's sons. It sounds like she really embraced it.
It's quite something. They actually called her mom.
Even though their biological mom was still around, yeah. That says a lot, I think, about the warmth she brought.
It really does. And, there's a poignant detail about Jackie's own life.
Ah, right.
She'd had a motorcycle accident when she was younger, about 22.
Yeah.
And because of that, she couldn't have children of her own. So this chance to be a mother, even a stepmother they called mom, must have meant the world to her.
Absolutely. Makes that bond even more understandable. So fast forward, it's 2002. The boys are grown up.
Empty nest time.
Pretty much. They sell their house in Newport Beach, buy this modest older yacht. They call it the Well-Deserved.
Aptly named, it sounds like.
Totally. And this wasn't some whim. It was years of saving, very careful planning. They weren't rich folks.
No, they were frugal, practical. This is their dream. Sailing down the coast, California, Mexico.
Just enjoying retirement. It was about the experience,
Yeah.
the freedom.
It really speaks to their shared values, doesn't it? Experience over just stuff.
Exactly. Not about luxury, just a good life together.
And those first couple of years, it sounds like paradise.
Oh, yeah. Picture it, right. Open sea, sunsets, catching fish, having a cocktail.
Living the dream they'd worked for.
Absolutely earned it. But then 2004 hits. Unexpected news.
The grandbaby.
The grandbaby's on the way. And that just shifts everything. Suddenly, being near the grandchild is the most important thing.
So the boat dream takes a backseat.
It does. It's a tough call, I bet, but they decide, okay, sell the Well-Deserved, find a place on land, be closer to family.
That's a big pivot. Really shows how much family meant to them.
Definitely. So they put an ad in a fishing magazine, asking around $500,000.
$100,000, yeah.
And boom, almost right away, they get an offer. Young couple.
Wow. Quick?
Super quick. They're thrilled. They call their sons. Guess what? Selling the boat. We'll call you back with details.
Guy call.
Never comes. Days go by. A week, no answer on their phones.
Which is totally unlike them.
Completely out of character. Especially with the grandparent news. You'd think they'd be buzzing.
Yeah, that silence would be deafening for the family. Alarms must have been going off.
Big time. And Tom's brother, Jim, he's a retired police chief, mind you.
Oh, interesting background.
Yeah, he feels that something's really wrong. So he decides, right, I'm driving down to Newport Beach myself. Check this out.
Good instinct, especially with his background.
So let's get into what Jim finds when he gets to that dock.
Okay, so Jim arrives, sees the Well-Deserved, but it doesn't look right. No one seems to be on board, but it's the little things, details that just scream wrong, especially for someone like Tom.
Like what?
Well, the mooring lines weren't stowed properly, coiled and neat. Tarps were off the control panels on the bridge, just left open. And there were dirty towels just hanging out of a porthole.
Not Tom's style at all. He was meticulous, right? Took pride in that boat.
Exactly. These were signs of carelessness, maybe neglect, that just didn't fit Tom's personality at all.
So Jim's obviously getting more worried by the second. What does he do?
He leaves his business card, smart move, tucks it somewhere visible with a note.
Same.
Basically, I'm looking for my brother and sister-in-law, Tom and Jackie Hawks. If you're the new owner, please call me.
And he gets a call.
He does. From a young woman, 21 years old, Jennifer DeLeon, says she's the new owner.
Okay. Jennifer DeLeon, what's her story?
Well, she sounds helpful initially. Says, oh, we need to ask the Hawks about some of the boat's controls, and even offers to return some personal belongings they apparently left behind.
That seems a little odd, doesn't it? Why leave personal stuff? Why wouldn't Tom explain the controls?
Exactly. It raises questions even as she's seemingly trying to cooperate.
So what does Jennifer tell Jim about the sale itself?
She gives him the rundown. Yeah, we bought the boat, paid cash.
Cash for $500,000.
That's the story. Paid cash, watched Tom and Jackie drive off in their SUV, said they were heading to Mexico, maybe near their son who lived in Arizona.
Okay, cash transaction, driving off to Mexico. That's the official story from the supposed new owner.
Right. But Jim, with his cop instincts probably tingling,
He digs a bit deeper.
he makes another call. To Patricia, the person who handled Tom and Jackie's finances, paid their bills.
Smart. Check the money trail.
Bingo. And Patricia delivers the bombshell.
No deposit.
No deposit. Nothing even close to $500,000 has hit Tom and Jackie's accounts.
Wow. Okay, so that cash story immediately looks shaky. Very shaky.
It completely undermines Jennifer's account. I mean, a legitimate sale that size, all cash, and zero trace in the bank. Highly suspicious.
Extremely. That's a massive red flag waving right there.
You got it. So now Jim has conflicting stories, no sign of his brother, and this big financial discrepancy.
So he does the logical next step.
He reports Tom and Jackie missing to the Newport Beach Police Department, officially.
And the police naturally start looking at the DeLeons, the last people, supposedly, to see them.
Right. Jennifer and her husband, Skylar. And a quick background check turns up something significant.
What's that?
Skylar DeLeon isn't exactly squeaky clean. He has a prior felony conviction.
Right.
Armed robbery.
Armed robbery. Okay, that definitely escalates things.
And he served time for it. So, yeah, immediate suspicion falls heavily on them. In a missing persons case, a history like that, it puts you right at the top of the list.
No kidding. So the police go talk to Skylar. What about the boat itself? Did they search it again?
Detectives went back to the yacht. There was this moment, apparently, where they thought they saw a bloody handprint,
Oh, wow.
but it turned out to be rust. Phew. But still, no other major forensic clues jumped out at that point.
Okay, so back to Skylar. Police interview him. How does he handle it?
Surprisingly cooperative, by all accounts. At first, anyway. His story matches Jennifer's. Bought the yacht, paid cash, watched the Hawks drive away.
But what about the cash? Where does a young guy with a felony record get $500,000?
Ah, well, Skylar had an interesting explanation for that.
Let me guess. Not the armed robbery.
No. He claims he was a child star.
A child star.
Yep.
Yeah.
An extra, specifically on the TV show Power Rangers.
Get out. Power Rangers. That's his source for $500,000 in cash.
That was his initial story. I mean, talk about flimsy. It screams fabrication, right? This kind of easily disproven, almost fantasy level lie.
Yeah, it suggests someone who's maybe not tethered to reality or just thinks they can talk their way out of anything.
Exactly. And of course, that story didn't hold up for a second under questioning.
So he cracks. Changes his story.
He does. Makes this absolutely shocking confession.
Okay, what now?
The money wasn't from acting. It was stolen drug money.
Stolen drug money.
Yeah, he says he robbed some drug kingpin back in the 90s, hid the cash before he went to jail for the armed robbery.
And his plan now was to use the boat purchase to launder it.
That's what he admits. Buy the yacht with the dirty cash, then maybe sell it later for clean money.
Unbelievable. So he confesses to money laundering right there.
He does. And interestingly, the police, at this point, they don't immediately charge him with that.
Why not?
Their priority is finding Tom and Jackie. They probably see his cooperation, even if it's just confessing to another crime, as leverage. A way to maybe get information about the missing couple.
Keep him talking, basically.
Seems like it. So the investigation expands. They interview Jennifer, again, obviously, but also the notary who supposedly signed off on the sale documents.
The paperwork true.
Right, and a friend of Skylar's, Alonzo Mason, who was apparently there as a witness to the whole transaction.
Okay, so notary and a witness, what do they say?
Initially, they all stick to the script. Pretty much corroborate Skylar and Jennifer's story. Hawks took the cash, signed the papers, drove off happy.
All neat and tidy.
Almost too neat. But there were subtle differences starting to creep in. Little inconsistencies in how they described Tom and Jackie's mood or the exact sequence of events.
Tiny cracks in the story.
Exactly. Things that might not seem like much on their own, but when you put them all together, when people are lying, it's hard to keep every single detail perfectly aligned, especially those nuances.
Right. Those small slips can be very telling.
Absolutely. They can be giveaways.
Meanwhile, Tom and Jackie are still missing. No word. Police must be getting desperate for a lead.
Yeah, time is critical in these cases. So they issue a media bulletin, pictures of Tom and Jackie, description of their SUV, asking the public for any information.
Standard procedure, hoping someone saw something.
And this time, it works. They get a break. A call comes in.
From where?
Mexico. An older couple living down there.
And what did they see?
They reported seeing an SUV matching the description of Tom and Jackie's, parked right across the street from their house.
For days. Whoa! Okay, this could be huge.
It was the turning point. Mexican authorities, working with U.S. cops, check it out. They run the plates on the SUV.
And it belongs to
Skylar De Leon.
Skylar! Not Tom and Jackie.
Exactly. And the person living in the house where the SUV was parked knows nothing about the Hawks, never heard of them.
So Skylar's whole story about watching them drive off to Mexico just completely collapses.
Totally debunked. Blown out of the water. This is concrete evidence contradicting his statement.
So now the police have leverage, his money laundering confession, and proof he lied about the SUV.
You bet. They arrest Skylar, and they get a warrant to search his and Jennifer's home.
And what do they find there?
The final nail in the coffin for their story. They find Tom and Jackie's personal belongings, laptops, video cameras.
Stuff they definitely would not have just left behind on the boat if they were moving.
Absolutely not. These are things you take with you. This discovery makes it almost certain the De Leons were involved in their disappearance.
Yet they still deny everything.
Both Skylar and Jennifer maintain their innocence. It's pretty audacious. Jennifer even goes on TV talk shows.
What? Seriously?
Yeah, claiming it's all a big misunderstanding, saying they're worried about the Hawks too.
That takes some serious nerve, facing that kind of evidence.
It's quite something. But the police aren't buying it for a second. They decide it's time to lean harder on the notary and the witness.
Go back to Kathleen Harris, the notary, and Alonzo Mason, the friend.
Exactly. Put the pressure on. Show them the evidence mounting against the De Leons.
And does it work? Does someone crack?
The notary, Kathleen Harris, under renewed questioning, faced with the inconsistencies and maybe the prospect of facing charges herself,
Yeah.
she breaks
What does she admit?
the truth. She admits she never even met Tom and Jackie Hawks.
Never met them, so the notarized documents...
Were fake. Skylar paid her cash to backdate them and sign them as if the sale happened legitimately.
Wow, okay, that demolishes the entire sale narrative. Completely fabricated.
Utterly. It proves that the De Leons were lying from the very beginning about the whole transaction.
So now they confront Alonzo Mason, the witness friend, with the notary's confession.
Right. They lay it out for him. The notary confessed. Your story doesn't hold up.
How does Alonzo react?
He tries to stick to the lie at first. But seeing the proof, knowing the notary flipped, he clams up, refuses to say anything more. Lawyer time, probably.
Smart move for him, maybe. But the police smell blood now.
Definitely. They know Alonzo knows more, so they offer him a deal.
Reduced sentence for the truth.
Exactly. Come clean, tell us exactly what happened to Tom and Jackie, and you'll get a lesser charge, a lighter sentence.
And does he take it?
He does. And what Alonzo reveals, it's beyond chilling. It's the stuff of nightmares.
Okay, brace ourselves. What did Alonzo say really happened?
He says Skylar wasn't just some guy laundering money. Skylar apparently told Alonzo he was some kind of, international assassin.
An assassin, Skylar De Leon.
That's what Alonzo claims Skylar told him. And Skylar offered Alonzo $1 million to help him kill Tom and Jackie.
$1 million? Why? Did he say why they had to be killed?
Skylar apparently just described them vaguely as bad people. No real reason given beyond that. Just they needed to die.
Bad people. That's it. That's the justification.
According to Alonzo, yeah. And Alonzo wasn't the only recruit. Skylar also brought in a third guy, John Kennedy, described as a muscular gang member.
So it was Skylar, Alonzo, and this John Kennedy. 3 of them against Tom and Jackie.
Yes. So that meeting at the dock, it wasn't about finalizing a sale.
No, it was an ambush under the guise of a sea trial.
Precisely. A carefully planned lure.
And you mentioned earlier, Tom had a background as a probation officer. Did his instincts kick in?
Alonzo's account suggests they did. Tom was reportedly wary of Skylar, Alonzo, and Kennedy right from the start. Something felt off to him.
His experience probably told him these guys weren't right.
Probably.
Yeah.
Those instincts honed over years. Sadly, they were spot on.
But then Jennifer showed up with the baby.
Right. And that, according to Alonzo, changed the whole dynamic.
How so?
Jackie especially, she apparently connected immediately with the baby, started talking to Jennifer. It seemed to put both Tom and Jackie more at ease.
Lowered their guard. That poor woman, given her own desire to be a mother.
It's heartbreakingly manipulative, isn't it? Using a baby to create this false sense of normalcy, of safety. It likely disarmed them just enough.
And then Jennifer leaves before the sea trial.
Yeah, she makes a show of leaving, takes the baby, says goodbye, leaving Tom and Jackie alone on the boat with Skylar, Alonzo, and Kennedy.
And that's when they make their move.
That's when the attack happens. Tom's at the helm, driving the boat out. Skylar and Kennedy somehow lure him downstairs. You ask him about the engine, who knows?
While Alonzo deals with Jackie.
While Alonzo attacks Jackie upstairs, in the galley, the kitchen area.
Oh my God. Coordinated. Brutal.
Jackie must have been terrified, hearing his struggle, then being attacked herself. And then the account says she sees Tom downstairs. He's already overpowered, handcuffed on the bed.
Unimaginable horror. Did she try to reason with them?
Alonzo said she pleaded with Skylar, mentioned his wife, mentioned the baby he'd just been holding, appealing to any shred of humanity.
Did it work? Any hesitation from Skylar?
No. His response was ice cold. Just ordered them both to be bound up with tape. Then he takes the helm himself and starts piloting the boat further out, towards the deepest water.
While they're bound, helpless.
Yes. And there's this detail. Tom, even then, even handcuffed and knowing what was likely coming, he was comforting Jackie,
What did he say?
telling her they'd be together no matter what happened, just trying to soothe her in those final moments.
Yeah.
It's incredibly moving and speaks volumes about their bond.
Even facing death, they had each other. That's wow.
So Skylar pilots the boat out, way out, to the deepest part of the ocean he can find. Then he orders Alonzo and Kennedy to bring Tom and Jackie back up onto the deck.
Why? What more could they possibly want?
The paperwork. They force Tom and Jackie right there on deck to sign documents,
Signing away their boat, their money.
transferring ownership of the well-deserved, granting access to their bank accounts, under duress, obviously.
And you mentioned Jackie did something.
Yeah, a small act of defiance, maybe, or just a sign of the coercion. She deliberately misspelled her own name when she signed, like a tiny signal that this wasn't willing.
God, hoping someone might notice later.
Maybe.
Yeah.
After the papers are signed, they're led to the very back of the boat, the stern.
Oh no.
And Skylar gives the order to Alonzo, get the anchor.
The anchor. I think I know where this is going. It's horrific.
Jackie is pleading for their lives. Tom, in one last desperate act, manages to break free for a second, kicks Skylar,
Good for him, fighting back.
but he's quickly subdued again. There are 3 of them, after all. They position Tom and Jackie back to back, still handcuffed together.
And the anchor chain.
They attach the heavy anchor chain directly to the handcuffs binding Tom and Jackie together.
Oh God.
Then Skylar gives the order. The anchor is thrown overboard.
No.
You hear the chain rattling, feeding out incredibly fast. And Alonzo described this as they were dragged backward off the stern. Jackie's head hit the boat. Hard. A loud cracking sound.
Oh my.
And then they were gone. Pulled down into the ocean. Alive. Conscious. Sinking together. 3,500 feet down into the darkness.
Still alive as they sank. That is, I have no words. That's pure evil.
And Skylar's reaction. According to Alonzo,
What did he do?
he cheered. Grinned like a happy kid watching fireworks. Cheered as they disappeared.
Cheered. Unbelievable lack of humanity. Just monstrous.
And Jennifer? Was she just waiting back on shore?
The investigation concluded she was much more involved. The account suggests the whole horrific plan was actually her idea, driven by money.
Her idea. Using the baby, the whole thing.
That's what the evidence pointed towards. Using the baby to disarm them was a deliberate tactic, and Skylar was apparently calling her throughout the attack, updating her.
So she was complicit the entire time. Knew exactly what was happening out there.
It seems so. And remember that video camera they found in the DeLeon's house, Tom and Jackie's camera?
Yeah, what was on it?
It was gut-wrenching. There was footage clearly taken earlier, happy footage of Jackie on the yacht enjoying herself.
Oh, man.
And then the footage cuts abruptly. The next thing on the camera, Thanksgiving dinner, Skylar and Jennifer. Just days after the murders, casually using the Hawks camera to film their holiday meal.
The callousness is just
Oh,
staggering. No remorse, no guilt, just celebrating Thanksgiving with the victim's camera.
it shows such a profound disregard for the lives they had just brutally ended.
So what happened to them all in court?
Alonzo Mason, because he cooperated and testified, got 20 years.
Okay. And Jennifer.
Jennifer DeLeon received life in prison, no chance of parole.
And Skylar and John Kennedy, the ones who carried out the murders.
Both Skylar DeLeon and John Kennedy were sentenced to death.
Justice, perhaps, but it doesn't bring Tom and Jackie back.
Not even close. This whole story, it's just so deeply disturbing. The betrayal, the calculated cruelty, desecrating their dream like that.
It really is. That contrast between the trusting couple finally living their dream and the absolute predatory evil they encountered. It's stark.
For me, the real aha moment, if you can call it that, is just realizing how something seemingly so simple, selling a boat, could mask such a profound darkness. How it wasn't just a crime gone wrong, but a cold, premeditated double murder for greed.
Pure greed. And the impact, of course, is devastating and permanent for their family, their sons, their friends. It's a loss you can't quantify.
It really is. And it just leaves you with this chilling reminder of the darkness that can hide just beneath the surface.
Absolutely. A truly chilling reminder.
So as you process this, think about it. What does a story like this really tell us about the capacity for deception? The terrifying lengths people might go to for money, for gain.
And looking back, were there signs? Those subtle cues in the initial meetings? Anything that, in hindsight, screamed danger?
It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What are the subtle signals we all might miss in our own lives, in our own interactions? What cues are we overlooking? Something to definitely think about.